Rama asked, Lord, how does the pure wakeful state arise, and how do beings exist in such a state, without any cause or motivation whatsoever? In the previous chapter, chapter 50, we were given 7 categories. And one of them was a peculiar one. It was the pure wakeful state. What beings belong in this? These are beings that are pure, and yet can still slip into unconsciousness. And I think these are people who do seem to be quite blessed, but they probably don't appreciate the nature of their blessedness. These are very straightforward people, very pure of heart, very unconniving, of almost childlike innocence. But we shouldn't worry too much about it. The point of these categories was to reinforce the dreamlike nature of our ordinary reality. And this is very much what we're established in at the moment. Vasishta replied, O Ram, without a cause no effect is produced. Therefore the pure wakeful state does not happen, nor does all the rest of this apparent creation come into being at all. Nothing is created and nothing perishes. All these descriptions are incidental to instruction. So these categorisations, these categories are purely provisional. If they're helpful, if they manage to impart something or to direct you to something, that's great. But if not, we don't need to get caught up in worrying about them, because they don't exist. They don't have any real validity. They are simply incidental to instruction. Rama asked again, who is it that creates the bodies, the mind, etc., and who deludes all these beings with bondage known as friendship, likes, etc.? I suppose Rama's just simply asking, if consciousness is so simple, and that's all there is, why are there so many apparent problems? But again, this is the tendency we want to avoid, is being presented with this situation. We want to ask questions, we want to inquire into it, but this is taking us away from the solution. When you start wanting to conceptualize things, you conceptualize a question and you want a conceptualized answer. This is what we're wanting to get away from. Vasishta replied, O Ram, no one creates these bodies at any time, and no one deludes beings at any time. Consciousness is beginningless and eternal, and it alone exists as all these diverse beings. Nothing is outside of this consciousness, though it appears to be outside itself. This appearance too arises within itself, like a sprout from a seed. This universe exists within consciousness, even as a figure exists in a marble slab. This simile of the marble slab and its infinite potential is a very important one. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It's rather like consciousness with relation to dreams. Arguably, dreams have even more variety than our waking life does. There's even more potential, more scope for invention within dreams. But dreams are like the marble slab. Is anything actually created in a dream? We slap the label dream onto it, and this denotes the uniformity, the homogeneity of the experience, of the dream experience, and yet within that dream experience is infinite variety. We get involved in it. It's real at the time. It's extremely real, hyper real. It's so vivid, and the emotions that we experience are so intense, and yet we immediately dismiss the reality of dreams once we wake up. We say it was all only a dream. And this is like the marble slab and all the potential figures that exist within it. This consciousness, which is everywhere, within and without, spreads itself as the world appearance on account of time and space, just like the fragrance of a flower spreads out. Consciousness permeates everything, and the realization of the dream nature of what we think of as physical reality is like the fragrance of the flower. That realization gradually spreads out, and the dreamlike nature of what we consider solid reality becomes clearer and clearer. This itself is the other world. And there's no other world. It's only this. It's only consciousness. It's not our consciousness here and lots of other stuff going on out there. It's all of the same thing. This is that. Let there be an end to the mental conditioning that creates the other world. When the notion of the other world has been given up, from where do such notions arise? So it doesn't really create the other world. We only identify, we get caught up in notions of another world, of an external world. The self alone is real, devoid of the concepts of time, space, and such other notions. Time and space are notions as well. This is the framework of our belief in an external world. The self is not a void. The self is often described as void. It's described as void because we can't really say anything about it. But everything exists within it. This truth is realized only by those who are established in the supreme state, not by those who rest in the ego sense. To one who has realized the truth, the 14 worlds are his own limbs. In his vision, the division between dream state and wakeful state ceases to exist. When this world appearance is seen to be pure consciousness, it becomes similar to a dream. Just as all that is thrown into the fire becomes one, ash, all the states and the world appearance are reduced to oneness by the fire of wisdom. It's just the way we slap on the label dream to all the experiences we have when we're asleep, indicating its homogeneity. Consciousness alone appears as this gross universe. When this is realized, the belief in the existence of matter ceases. With it ceases desire to possess such matter. Then one remains in one's own inner peace. When the self is realized as neither the world nor the void, everything remains as it truly is. The sage of self-realization has crossed this samsara and has reached the end of all karma. This is the Vajra Samadhi.